So, can we have a conversation about what it means to be deserving while dating? That is a question that I received, and it is one that we're going to talk about here today. Who's deserving? When are they deserving? And who gets to say so? And then I'm going to go ahead and give you a couple of solutions on how we can get out of that space of feeling like we simply don't deserve. But first, the intro. And welcome back to another episode of the Daily Donna with me, Dr. Donna. I am a sex and relationship therapist in the Washington, D.C. metro area. You know I had to go ahead and get those credentials and remind you that I am a therapist. I'm not your therapist. For this conversation, I definitely am very interested in this. Now, if you have been following for a little while, you might know that every now and then you'll find that there is a link to a suggestione box. It's for you to add your suggestiones. Now, mind you, if you put them inside the comments, I'm still going to see it. I'm still going to get to it. But it's not your best bet. So your best bet is to use the link. Meanwhile, this is a conversation that got picked up in one of the chat sections, and someone said that they wanted this answered. So I'm going to repeat what the question was, or rather the statement. I know what I want, but I'm not convinced I deserve it. Dating as a plus-sized woman, my body always makes me nervous. And I want to say, sis, of course it does. Because of where you are in the world and what people already think of as being deserving. So I would be remiss if we didn't talk about how society views who's deserving. And part of the way we're having this conversation is with my book, Drink Water and Mind Your Business, a Black woman's guide to unlearning the BS and healing self-esteem. Here's the thing, where it comes right down to who deserves and who doesn't deserve, this is something that is part of our mental processes on whether or not we have done what we feel like is necessary to deserve something, which impacts the way that we view and see ourselves and the way that we feel ourselves, the way that we feel about ourselves. So basically, what they say impacts what you feel like you know about yourself, impacts what you feel about yourself. The problem is oftentimes we're using what someone else thinks they know about us in place of what we know about us. And we're using how we know someone else would feel about what they know about us, not what we feel about what we know about us. Allow me to elucidate. What I'm saying here is that society at large has an idea about what the perfect body size is for someone to be able to be lovable, to be worthy of dating, and to be deserving of whatever it is that they would like to see in their romantic relationships. Everybody has an opinion. And the point is that if you are not a skinny white somebody, if you are not a light somebody, if you don't look in a specific way, people believe that you are simply less deserving. It's one of the things that Deshaun talks about in his book, Belly of the Beast, the capital pretty and the capital ugly. And when you are not capital pretty, white, white rich female, white skinny rich female, whatever, then you are considered somehow less deserving. And that every standard deviation you are from that, the more undeserving you become. So the darker you are, the fatter you are, if you're disabled, whatever the things, after that, there's a point where people believe that you are simply undeserving of any good thing, particularly where it comes to dating. And I went ahead and did a little extra research on this, and deservingness plays a role in self-esteem and in our self-defeating behaviors, which means that if you believe that you do not deserve and you feel it in here, right? Like you feel badly about yourself as a result, like you don't think you should have it. You feel badly about yourself because you shouldn't have it. You behave in the same way. What I'm saying is that your behaviors that you will simply not bother trying because you already don't think that you deserve the things that you desire. That, I would say, is actually very representative of damaged self-esteem, which is one of the 4 types of self-esteem that I talk about in my book. Damaged self-esteem is where inside you might feel it, but outside you're just like, what the world doesn't confirm. Now, fragile self-esteem, because it could be a beautiful little combination going on there. Fragile self-esteem basically says that other people have to give it to me. That my self-esteem is their responsibility. So as long as you're getting likes, accolades, pats on the back, someone else telling you like, damn, you fine, then you feel it. But otherwise, there's nothing there. And a lot of Black women tend to reside in the two, but really they reside in the damaged self-esteem of it all. So the question that I ended up asking is, if you don't deserve it, who does? Right? And not according to other people, according to you. If you don't deserve the good thing, whatever the good thing is, who deserves it? What makes them more deserving than you? And who said so? What I find is that when we answer these questions, or at least what I have found in therapy, when I have people answer these particular questions, it ends up leading back to the white supremacist delusion that already tells you that white people, that skinny people, that rich people, that light-eyed people, that straight-haired people, that all of them are more deserving than you. This is untrue. Now, the part that I really want to address is the part where you said that you don't feel convinced. Now, where it comes to convincing, I had to go ahead and do a little extra on the definition, because I like to make sure that we are all on the same page. So I went and got a little OD with it. That means we operationally define our terms. So getting OD with this, convinced means completely certain about something. So you are not completely certain that you deserve to have a bomb ass partner, that because you know what you want, but you don't feel convinced, completely certain that you should have it. Now, the thing is, again, name when you're in a space where you do feel like you deserve, what is the thing that says yes? Name it. When you're thinking about this dating thing, name all the things that say yes, you deserve. And then write all the things that say no, you don't deserve. But that thing on the no, you don't deserve, track it. From where did it come from? I like to treat that thing like it is a Marvel origin story, right? Like, like you got the Marvel origin story of Spider-Man, Batman is definitely not Marvel. But Iron Man, like, we know how they started. We know what was the thing that put them from over here to over here. So it is also going to be some of your work to know what got you from over here to over here. And I would say that really, is it that you don't feel like you deserve, or other people feel like you don't deserve? And I think that sometimes that could be a hard question to really sit in and tackle, because we sometimes will adopt what other people have to say about us as our own. We internalize the message, and with time, our inner voice starts to say someone else's message. And what I want to make sure that you do, that you take the time to do, is to know what belongs to them and what belongs to you. Everybody else's baggage is not yours. It's not yours to hold. It's not yours to carry. It's not yours to internalize. So being able to name it, externalize it. What was the message? What were the sentences? What were the phrases? What were the things that people said? Write all those things down and put, where did it come from? When did it come from? How old were you when you received whatever message, and who's the one that gave it to you? And then you have to make the determination on whether or not you want to give it back. This is the only time that I say regifting is good. You want to regift it, as in return that junk to sender. Just tell them, hey, like, you gave me this thing, I don't want it no more. Don't serve me, and then let it go, right? Choose the message that you would prefer to replace it with, and remind yourself of that message, not the old one. The old one is always going to crop up because the world is what it is, and it is very anti-fat, anti-Black outside. It doesn't mean that you have to be anti-fat, anti-Black inside. Sometimes we all falter because everybody is very loud about who's deserving and who's not. So it can take more for us to be convinced of our own worthiness when the world already said that we are ugly, that we are fat, and that these things make us undeserving. I want to take a real moment to remind us that, like, sometimes Because other people don't feel deserving, they will convince us that we are also undeserving. They don't know, some folk don't know how to feel good about themselves without making others feel worse about themselves. And that is where I say the Four Agreements comes in. It's a book by Don Miguel Ruiz. I may have made it up. But in that book, one of the Four Agreements is not to take anything personally. A lot of the times, the things that people have to say about us or to us is not actually about us. It's actually about them, and they've projected it because they don't know what to deal with it, how to deal with it on their own insides. So they give it to you as a gift. It's up to you to return to sender, to throw that gift in the trash, to put that thing in the closet where it could just rot. But really, we need to go ahead and get rid of that. So I'm going to say thank you for your vulnerability and bringing this up in the space. I hope that this was helpful. I'm going to make sure to put all of the links in the description, including to this study on deservedness, as well as a link to my book, of which I am doing a read along starting in March on the first Tuesday, and it will be for 5 weeks. We do 2 chapters at a time. I hope that y'all will join. I will also add that link in the description below. Now, if you have a conversation that you would like us to have, go ahead and put that bad boy in the suggestion box so I could get to it. All right, y'all. Thank you for joining me for another episode of the Daily Donna. Remember, I am a therapist. I am not your therapist. Please behave accordingly. And remember, discourse, not disrespect. Keep it cute in the comments. I'll see you tomorrow.